Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you for our time together. Please don't forget East Campus. We have Worship Our Wonderful God, the Wow Night of Worship, Thursday night at East Campus, 7 o'clock. We'll see you there. Right now, I want us to just take a highlight of Romans chapter 16. When I was a young man, people were very against women in ministry. And I could never understand that. Maybe because I didn't grow up in church, but, I would look out as a young man and I'd see more than 60% of the people in every church were women, and I couldn't understand why there were no women pastors. Forgive me, a woman can counsel a woman better than a man can. Please forgive me. And it doesn't get pastors in trouble when a woman does the counseling and a woman visits the women and a men take care of the men. But as a young Christian, I couldn't understand the logic. And when I went to Bible college, I couldn't get the theology because most of the great people on campus that prayed were the women professors, and the best preachers on campus, to be honest, just about, were the women professors. And then I got married by two women pastoras, and the marriage has seemed to work very well. Next year we'll be married 40 years. So I look at a lot of this anti-women ministry today, and sometimes I just shake my head. They take one or two verses, take it out of context, take it out of the rest of the Scripture, ignore the majority of the Scripture, and say that women should not be in any positions of leadership in the church. And you look at their churches, and it's all men on the platform, except maybe a woman backup singer. And maybe if the woman is especially talented, she gets to lead worship. But, there's no women pastors, there's no women deacons. And, you look at churches like that, and you understand those two churches come from either one or two backgrounds. Either they come from a Baptist background, which is very anti-women in leadership, or they come from a shepherding background. The charismatic churches that came out of the shepherding movement, which is an extreme discipleship movement, are also very anti-women in leadership. Now, people cover it today, and they have very positive scripting about it. But if you look at a church and don't see any women pastors or deacons, please look here at Romans chapter 16. People always say, well, Paul said. Well, listen to what Paul says. I commend to you our sister Phoebe, a servant. The Greek word is diakonos, a deacon in the church of Cenchrea. Then you get down to Priscilla and Aquila, Paul's two closest friends. Both of them were ministers. And then you greet Mary, who worked very hard for you. And then verse 7, greet Andronicus and Junius, my relatives. They were outstanding among the apostles. So Junius is a woman. That's a woman's name, and Paul said she was outstanding among the apostles. And then you have greet Tryphena and Tryphosa in verse 12, those women who worked hard in the Lord. And then greet my dear friend Persis, another woman who worked very hard in the Lord. And then you get over to verse 15, Nurses and his sister. Now, again and again, Paul is greeting women leaders. Paul is greeting women workers in the church. A woman relative was born again before he was, and outstanding among the apostles. And then you deal with Philip's daughters who were prophetesses. And then you deal with Deborah. And the list just goes on and on and on and on. Please, women, don't let a few religious bigots keep you from your destiny and the calling that God has upon your life. Now, straight talk. Woman, be free. Woman, be free. Jesus set you free.